Hi friends, my Louis Vuitton finally came in. There has been quite a debacle about this. I've gone through multiple different bags regarding this. There were so many issues with quality control. It was unreal. My first issue was this is a limited edition bag, or really a seasonal color, which is limited edition. And it's so limited in quantities. I tried to get a made in France, but they did not have them at all. I think my essay said that he saw one, yeah, this has tape over it, when it first was released, and that was it. So I went through like 8 different bags because there were so many, quality issues with this bag. It was just unreal. I really wanted this bag. I spoke to a friend of mine in Australia, and she called the Louis Vuitton in Australia, and they didn't even get this bag, or rather this colorway. And I actually did contemplate going overseas to pick it up. But when I spoke to London, they were like, it's really limited here. I wasn't sure. I mean, France has a lot of quality issues too. I have a lot of stuff from France that I had to exchange back and multiple times. So this has nothing to do with the US quality. It's Louis Vuitton quality. But I felt that Louis Vuitton is made in France, not in the United States, is made in France and not in the US. But I couldn't get it. And I had just, before this was released, I had been in the UK. And had I been in the UK when it was first released, I would have absolutely bought it there. But because I couldn't, I really wanted this colorway. So I'm like, I guess I'm stuck with a USA one. But it did take me 8 different tries to get this bag, which is ridiculous because the quality control issues for Louis Vuitton in general are very poor. Oh my gosh, this bag is so big. But I really love the bag and I really love the colorway, so whatever. And I think because it was such a limited quantities, they were going to produce them in the States. I know they keep saying, but it's of imported materials. Well, okay, but Louis Vuitton is a French company and I prefer made in France. But I couldn't get it in this colorway. It was absolutely impossible. And there weren't even a lot in the States. When I spoke to the manager at my Louis Vuitton, they were like, there's only 90 in the country. And I was like, what do you mean there's only 90 in the country? He's like, there's only 90 in the country. I was like, oh my God. So it wasn't gonna happen. But the bag is so beautiful, and the colorway was, I actually don't have a chocolate bag. So they came out with this chocolate collection. It is extremely limited. So I picked up this beautiful chocolate bag in the On-The-Go. I love this bag so much, and look at how perfect the stitching all is. I mean, it lines up unreal. And then the stitching is perfect here and here. And it's funny because not all of them, I mean, all of them had issues. There was one that was so janky here that the sales associate was like, I'm not gonna sell this to you. I'm not selling this to you. And I was like, good, because I wasn't going to buy it. So it comes with a closure, and then you have straps. I don't use straps like this, so I won't wear it this way. I will absolutely wear it handheld. So it's really funny because my husband, my husband was like, I'm surprised you bought this bag. And I was like, why? And he said, because it's so not flashy. And I had to laugh because I kind of looked at the bag and then I kind of looked at him, and we were in Louis Vuitton when this happened. And I said, what do you mean it's not flashy? He's like, it's not flashy. And I was, I was like, there's a word for what you're talking about. It's called quiet luxury. And I've never been quiet about anything in my life, particularly luxury. And I said, do you see this big LV here? This is not quiet luxury. This is in your face. And then you've got the LV and the emblems literally all over this bag. This bag is not quiet luxury. Now, the low-key cookie, I would consider that quiet luxury because there's no emblems, there's nothing on it. If you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't know. So let's get into the bag. So the bag has fabric inside, which I wish it was lined with leather for $3,500. It should be lined. The low-key cookie is actually lined in leather. So I wish this was, but that's okay because I really love this bag. And this is the Empreinte leather in chocolate. And again, it is a seasonal color only. And according to my essay, there was only, or the manager, there was only 90 in the United States. And the size of it is large, but not crazy. Like, I'm barely 5'3", and this looked great on me. The GM literally swam on me. It was like a 3-year-old carrying their mother's bag or something like that. It was just too big. And this is 35 across. So it's a fairly large bag, but it's not crazy large where you look ridiculous carrying it. So it's a great everyday bag. So let's go into what fits next. I have my bag that I've been using. It's been raining basically nonstop in New England. So here we go. We are going to start with my Tom Ford sunglasses with the case. I don't understand why people will throw their sunglasses in their bag without the case, because you're just going to scratch them. So I have low blood sugar issues. I'm hypoglycemic. And sometimes I carry that. I know I've been using this for months. You guys have seen it. I love this wallet. This was also a seasonal color, limited edition, whatever you want to call it. And it sold out within like less than 2 weeks. So I'm glad I got it like the day it was released. And then my mini pochette. Now, a lot of people will use an insert. I don't like that. I don't think that it's something, I really feel like it degrades the bag, but that's my opinion. And then we have my hand sanitizer, my 2 EpiPens. You're supposed to carry 2. My key pouch. My Altoids. And my bag of like miscellaneous things like my chargers. I always carry floss with me. And that's it. So there's a significant amount of space in here. Let me tuck these in. And it's not very heavy. I think it's a perfect everyday bag, a work bag. I love this bag. I think it's fantastic. I'm not crazy with the quality issues that I found with it. In order for me to get this, I had to go through so many different ones. And that was just ridiculous, coupled with the fact that I really didn't want a made in the USA one. This is my only made in the USA Louis Vuitton piece. I own a lot of pieces. I've never had a USA one before. And it's funny because I told my SA, I said, I'm never buying another one again. So don't even show one to me. The only reason why I agreed to that is because it was just too difficult to get it over in the UK. I did try. They wouldn't ship it to me. I do have friends who could do it, but again, we'd have to deal with quality control issues, and I'm not there. And I wish I'd been there when this was released because I would have gotten it then. And I really did contemplate, but my husband's like, I'll just go for a weekend. I'll fly in, I'll fly out. And my husband's like, what if you can't get the bag? And I was like, okay, that is a good point, because again, they're limited there too. And it was just so ridiculous. And then the quality control issues was just absolutely absurd. Shame on Louis Vuitton for having such issues, whether it's in France or whether it's in the USA. I shouldn't have to go through 8 different bags to see 8 different bags to get one bag that was really, really good quality. It shouldn't be like that, not for a $3,500 bag. I have Coach bags that have cost significantly less, that have never had quality control issues. So honestly, shame on Louis Vuitton. And I said something, and another issue, I don't like them gatekeeping. You can't call, so I was told how many were in each store. And so I would call, you can't call the store directly. You have to call the 1-800 number. Well, they want to sell it to you because they want the commission for it. I had one woman hang up on me because I said, Tampa has 3. I want to talk to Tampa. And she's like, well, why won't you buy one from like this? And I said, I know you want the commission. You're not getting the commission. Please have Tampa call me. And she hung up on me. So I did not appreciate that at all. And every time I would call back, it took me 2 weeks to be able to get to a store, to have a store call me, because the people who were working on the phone lines did not want to bring me to a store because they wanted the commission. And they would be like, yeah, I'll send the message through. And they never sent the message through purposely. So I didn't appreciate that at all. I don't like gatekeeping. And at the last point, I said, listen, I was really mad. I was like, Chanel does not do this. Dior, who is under your umbrella, does not do this. And I expect to be treated a lot better than how I'm being treated at this very moment. It was horrendous. I finally got somebody from Tampa to call me back because I was like, I'm going to take my money elsewhere. I'm not going to deal with gatekeeping. You are not going to treat me this way. You're going to have somebody from Tampa call me, and I want to speak to a manager there. And I finally got through to Tampa. It took 2 weeks and multiple phone calls because the people on the phones at Louis Vuitton were gatekeeping, and I really don't like that. And then the SAs wouldn't, in my area, refuse to call other stores and check with them. And I was just aggravated at that as well because I've never had them do that before. They've checked other stores before, and when one of the SAs was like, we don't do that, I'm like, literally, you just did a week ago for me for a product. So I don't know what you're talking about. I get treated better at Chanel than I did at Louis Vuitton regarding this bag. And it really just, I did not like it, and they're getting a stern letter. You know what I'm saying? Like, oops, I just hit the thing. I was so mad. And I am not going to let this go because I don't think that gatekeeping is correct. And I don't think that forcing to buy something online instead of wanting to talk to a store, the lady hung up on me. I was like, I'm not giving you the commission. I need to speak with the store. And she literally hung up on me because she wanted the commission. and she wasn't gonna send it to the store. And some of them would say, yeah, I'm gonna send it to the store. And when I talked to Tampa, they're like, no, this last time was the only communication we had regarding this situation. And I was fuming. I was so angry. Like, my eyes were turning green and red. I was just so mad. So I wasn't happy about this whole transaction regarding this bag. And coupled with the fact that there were so many bags that were severely defected, like, I am surprised that Louis Vuitton would put those out in the market and anybody would buy them. I mean, the stitching was off, like literally stitching was off on here. It was ridiculous and it was shameful. So am I glad to have this particular bag? Yes. Did I like the experience of this bag? No, I don't. So, but I don't have to worry about it now because I have it and I really do love it. And I will see you guys in my next video.